ना, नहीं तो ये मैकेनिकल प्रोसेस हो जाएगा ना। मैकेनिकल प्रोसेस मतलब कि हम लोग सुनेंगे बट कुछ ट्रैक्शन पे नहीं आता है ना। सब क्वेश्चंस का आंसर्स चाहिए ना, कुछ क्वेश्चंस है तो उसका आंसर जिज्ञासु होने का तो सेटिस्फैक्टरी आंसर मिलना है ना। अगर नहीं मिलेंगे तो ये क्या बोलते हैं, रिचुअल हो जाता है ना, रिचुअल। ये करो वो करो इसके बाद ये करो करो, उसका एक प्रोसेस है, साइंटिफिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग। ये क्यों करते, गोश्त मांस क्या नहीं खाते, क्या ये करते वो करते, प्रभुपाद ये क्या बोल रहे हैं, तो सब चीज का आंसर है, सब चीज का आंसर है, पर थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा ना, साधन साधना।
थोड़ा थोड़ा हम आपके साथ रहेंगे तो थोड़ा थोड़ा पूछेंगे, समझेंगे, बढ़ेंगे, ऐसे ही होगा।
हाँ हाँ, आपका गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद है और आप उसका बुक्स पढ़ो धीरे धीरे, अपन वाइफ का भी पढ़ाओ, फैमिली का भी, साथ बैठ के सत्संग करो, कृष्ण बुक पढ़ो, तो ये सब जीवन जीवन बहुत ठीक चलेगा ना।
हाँ, अभी अभी मैंने ये कंठी पहनना भी शुरू कर दिया, कंठी।
वेरी गुड वेरी गुड, दैट्स अ स्टार्ट है ना।
हाँ,
अब सिस्टमेटिकली एडवांस करो।
ठीक है प्रभु जी, हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण। नारायण प्रभु, Vinay Prabhu is Vinay Prabhu is a advocate. He's a lawyer.
Ah, very nice. Here I am.
So he was talking about how Srila Prabhupada did a lot of struggle, and who was he struggling for, you know. Then today's Bhakti Siddhanta.
For? Do you think he
Struggling
was struggling for? He was struggling against.
Yeah, struggling against, and then he came to America, and then he started the movement. You know, he struggled seemingly. I mean, if you want to call it struggled, with, you know, people who were not so.
He just preached. He just told. I just sent you today something you could read today. Actual matter of fact, a statement that Prabhupada made about his coming to America, and he wasn't talking about struggling. He was talking about preaching, and somehow or other, people took interest in it.
Oh yes, yes, yes. He was chanting.
But
right?
considering that Lord Chaitanya opened up the storehouse of love of God so that untouchables, malachas, shudras, yavanas, rakshasas could take part in chanting Hare Krishna, it's not surprising that he ran into a lot of same old mentality that prevented people just acting like they suddenly became Lord Buddha in his presence, you know, but said, aha, and that was it, you know. It wasn't like that.
Right.
People really, they joined the movement socially. That means Kanastadakari, right? They joined the movement as members. What they did do, and at least they eventually did even after 1966, they hadn't fully observed all the regulative principles, but they began preaching and they began practicing, they began chanting. And from that came an electrical connection to getting others to take chant, and to open temples.
Right.
But it was all based on their understanding, not upon Prabhupada's teaching.
That's the very clear distinction that we have to get across to all the people watching online, you know, that according
of all the people in the whole world, actually.
Whole world, but specifically people in ISKCON, how the system is now.
Well, they'll get it eventually. When we get it really out there, codified,
right.
They'll get it.
Right.
They will get it when we fully get it, because it's so obvious now that Prabhupada was standing alone, representing Krishna, with Krishna guiding him with every breath he took.
Yeah.
How people manage to struggle, make deals, talk, make deals with each other, how they manage to destroy his most single significant his order, which was the direction of management. I mean, that was the difference between we obey you and you sit there and translate and we'll run the movement. That was what it boiled down to.
Yeah.
It said, you're not going to take away our money and power by making the GBC elected. So our advocate, what is his good name?
Vinay Prabhu.
What?
Vinay.
Janaya?
Prabhu, आप नाम बोलो अपन.
Oh, Vinay.
V-I-N-A-Y.
Hare Krishna, Jai. Well, if you're an attorney, a barrister?
Yes.
Okay, so why not ask Vinay about Sri Agarwalji? Why don't you ask him about the direction of management? And if Prabhupada created an order coming from Krishna, what was the alternative but to obey it from the disciples, legally speaking?
There's no other alternative than to obey it. And if you don't obey it, well,
They seem to have been an alternative because they took an alternative and they stuck with it. And they've stuck with it to this very day.
alternative doesn't mean that it's what Krishna wanted. I mean, just like
Of course not. I'm talking legally.
legally. He's busy right now.
Called ISKCON. ISKCON, the corporation, creates a direction of management. At what point can that direction of management be ignored or refuted?
He's muted, so he might be dealing with some clients. So we'll continue. I'll answer that question. In no point in time should be disobeyed, sidelined, misrepresented, and not followed.
Yeah, but what the illegal opinion of our barrister is to say, if this were a situation that came up and you were involved in the case or an educated observer of the case, how would you expect that to play out and what would you expect the outcome to be?
Well, it's pretty clear in the management instructions of how Srila Prabhupada wanted things done. So
we know that. The problem isn't how he wanted things done. That's clear. The question is, what do you do? How do you remedy when it's not done?
Well, we educate the masses of people. That's one way to do it.
I'm talking about legally. I'm talking about.
Legally, you'll have to talk to a lawyer.
Well, we had one here, right? And I was addressing my question to him.
He's not available right now. Only I'm available. The pawn shop lawyer is available.
Well, we already know what our opinion is, what our feeling is, what our thoughts are. I was hoping when he gets back on, or if he does get back on, I was hoping for a legal opinion of what do you do, supposing this were a trust for an estate or something of that sort. What would be the procedure to follow to get the order of the person leaving the money in the will to be obeyed?
If you want the money, then you obey it. If you don't want the money, you'll be shot, and I'll take the money.
No, it doesn't work that way. Anyhow, we need the lawyer. So anyhow, you have a number of things that you can read. I sent 2 quotes from Srila Prabhupada, which we should definitely read.
Hare Krishna.
And Rupa Manjari Prabhu sent a couple of quotes from Prabhupada should be read also.
Sure.
I think we can't just be taking in each other's laundry. We need to be working on the philosophical base of, we could say what went wrong and what should have happened or what we should do now. But that's just, he said, she said. We need to get to the root of the situation. And the strongest root of the situation is Srila Prabhupada himself. So we have these quotes, if you would like to introduce them.
Let me pull it up 1 second.
Two emails, one from Rupa, one from me.
All right, got it. Let me pull it out.
because we're not trying to fight politics with politics. We're trying to fight politics with, it's sort of like in the United States right now, there's a big war going on between politics and the Constitution of the United States. Well, the direction of management is the Constitution of ISKCON. Constitution. In other words, it's the rules by which ISKCON is to be run. They have completely rejected it to Prabhupada's face. You know? So if the United States, if ISKCON is like the United States, a republic, then it must be controlled by the
people,
voters, which in this case would be the temple presidents that elected the GBC.
Is this the email, the quotes you wanted to talk about?
I have no idea.
So let me read it. So
Which one? Did it come from me or it came from, well, it came from me. Okay, sure, yeah, this is.
So
yeah.
This is a quote in an email. Prabhupada writes, so preaching is independent. If you have God desire, you can preach in any circumstance and Krishna will help you. I have practically experienced. I went to your country without any help, without any money, alone, and gradually things developed, all foreigners. I did not approach any Indian. I did not approach anyone, but Krishna sent friends gradually developed. Srila Prabhupada Conversation, Vrindavan, September 30th, 1976. Then he quotes, you are advanced in so many ways. Take this Krishna consciousness movement. Your country will be perfect, actual leader of the whole world. Your country will be perfect, actual leader of the whole world. I have come to your country with this purpose, and if the American boys and girls accept this Krishna consciousness movement, it will be good for them and good for the world. Then Prabhupada says, so try to understand this Krishna consciousness movement. It is very simple, it is not difficult, but it's sublime. It is the most sublime movement. It can solve all problems of the world. That we are sure. Srila Prabhupada Lecture, Columbus, May 19, 1969. All right.
That's probably, he gave that lecture when Allen Ginsberg and everybody, when he said, Allen, I will eat you and you will eat me.
Oh,
at the same time. Because, you know, I was present, and I probably was present for that. There's another quote that goes after it, isn't there?
No, there's nothing here.
Really?
Okay, yes, nothing else. Okay, let me look for some more quotes. Well, anyone want to discuss on this quote? Sarupa Manjari Prabhu, do you want to say anything or make a point or say anything? Or
just that Prabhupada had it all understood that the ground was fertile in America to start a movement, and he came and he made it happen.
yeah, another thing that when you were saying that made me came to mind was Srila Prabhupada specifically targeted US of A. You know, he didn't target London, nowhere else, but he targeted United States of America. Was there a specific reason why he targeted America?
I think because America is like the leading country in the world.
Mm-hmm. Right. And his god brothers actually went to London, right, at some point in time in the 1930s or something, right? Or 1920s?
Yeah, yes.
Van Maharaj?
Yeah,
right. Van Maharaj, yes, exactly.
Okay.
And he didn't do well there, did he?
Yeah, I think he says after 2 years he came back, right?
He brought back a large amount of money, and he didn't give it to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. He kept it, and when he kept it, he bought some land right adjacent to the Vrindavan temple, where we are at Ramanavati, and he set up a university there with himself as rector. Rector is an English way of putting the, like director, you know, director. The rector is the top guy it comes from religious schools, Protestant religious schools, but anyhow, he named himself as rector. And when Bhaktisiddhanta heard that what he had done with the money and what he had done to make the school, with no reference to Bhaktisiddhanta really, and how he named himself rector, he said he should be called rectum, not rector.
All right.
Now, when he came back from England, there was a very nice gathering. Had Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur honored him for having gone and having done some preaching work in the West, which Indians, Vaishnavas are not supposed to cross the ocean. And so a whole bunch of things there.
Right, right.
The Indians are not prone to proselytizing across the ocean at all. Of course, Vivekananda went, and what's his name? Vivekananda, and the other guy. Rupa, what's the name of the guy that did the lake shrine?
Maharishi?
No.
Yeah, Maharishi Mahashogi.
No, it wasn't Maharishi at the lake shrine.
Oh no, Paramahansa Yogananda.
Yeah. Paramahansa Yogananda.
Okay.
So they came over and made a bit of a sensation amongst the ladies that wanted the next cool thing to do.
Right.
And they came up with a lot of money. They built a temple in the Victorian style of those Victorian houses in San Francisco, with the bay windows and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
And they built it with Rajasthani arches in the building of the building. So it was custom-made building just for Yogananda.
Okay, so this is one of the quotes you wanted me to read, I guess, Narayan Prabhu. You can probably see it. You are correct when you say that when the spiritual master speaks, it should be taken that Krishna is speaking. That is a fact. A spiritual master must be liberated. It does not matter if he has come from Krishna Loka or he is liberated from here, but he must be liberated. That's a very powerful quote. Srila Prabhupada makes no distinction here. He said he must be liberated. Either he's liberated right now, or he's coming liberated from the spiritual world.
Yeah, but the standard is the same.
Yep, standard is the same.
But I don't think that's the quote that I sent.
Huh? Okay.
This is a nice quote. Maybe I sent it, but there's another one too.
Okay, let me check another one. All right.
And did you read Rupa Manjari's quotes, the ones she came up with there?
I didn't get an email from Rupa Manjari. Rupa Manjari, Prabhu, you sent any quotes to me?
I posted it in the WhatsApp group.
Oh, okay. Let me pull that up then. Hold on. So anyone watching on Facebook and YouTube, if you'd like to join, please just post a message on YouTube and I'll post a link there and you can join live. Okay, let's see what's up. News here. Hare Krishna. Moses Prabhu is watching from New York. Risto is also watching.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Risto and Moses Prabhu. Okay, the quote on League for 10K. Rupa Manjari. Okay, load this quote up, then we'll read it.
Rupa, it's also putting on League for 10K is good. A quote like that is very good.
Sure, yes.
But you should send it by email also, then it's easier to access.
Yes. All right. I have it here. Let me compose it. I'll send it now to everyone. Now this is the main business. Okay. I'm sending it to everyone so they can see it, and then they'll have it.
Are you putting it up on the screen?
Yeah, so we'll put it up on my screen here.
You see, Rupal, this is why it's good to send it as an email also, because you see what it's sort of tangled up to.
It's all right. I got it here. Here we go. Okay. Rupra, why don't you read all four of them, please?
Okay, Srila Prabhupada. When one has attained the topmost position of Mahabhagavat, he is to be accepted as a guru and worshipped exactly like Hari, the personality of Godhead. Only such a person is eligible to occupy the post of guru. Of a guru.
Very cool.
Srila Prabhupada, Atmavit means a self-realized soul or bona fide spiritual master. Unless one is self-realized and knows what his relationship with the supersoul is, he cannot be a bona fide spiritual master. Here it is recommended that one should seek out a bona fide spiritual master and surrender under him, Achanam, or by inquiring from and worshiping him, one can learn spiritual activities. Srila Prabhupada, if you are incapable of raising yourself to the standard of becoming spiritual master, that is not your spiritual master's fault. That is your fault. He wants, just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Amara Agyaya Guru Hana, by my order, every one of you become a guru. If one cannot carry out the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then how he can become a guru? The first qualification is that he must be able to carry out the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then he becomes guru. So that carrying out the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu depends on one's personal capacity. Srila Prabhupada, the main business of human society is to think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead at all times, to become his devotees, to worship the Supreme Lord, and to bow down before him. The Acharya, the authorized representative of the Supreme Lord, establishes these principles, but when he disappears, things once again become disordered. The perfect disciples of the Acharya try to relieve the situation by sincerely following the instructions of the spiritual master.
Wow, each quote can be like, tons and tons of discussion for our Leak for 10K.
Rupal, did you pass by the sources of those quotes?
Oh yeah, yes.
When you give a quote, try to give the source too.
Oh, okay.
So I'll read the first one again. Srila Prabhupada, when one has attained the topmost position of Mahabhagavat, he is to be accepted as guru, worshipped exactly like Hari, the personality of Godhead. Only such a person is eligible to occupy the post of guru. Chaitanya Chaitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 24, verse 330, Srila Prabhupada purport. Wow. This kind of kicks out all the ISKCON elected gurus out the window with one sentence, huh?
Yeah. Well, because they are the gurus of ISKCON, they can choose not to read this verse.
Unless they're delusional to the degree that they think that they're Mahabhagavats.
Yeah, wow.
I don't think very many of them think they're Mahabhagavats. I doubt that any of them think they're Mahabhagavats. What they think is that they're functioning like priests in the Catholic Church. They're doing their best and they're trying to follow in the footsteps, but they don't want to confuse the followers by making the followers question whether or not they're qualified to be gurus.
So basically what you're saying in a roundabout way, that I'm not qualified, but I've been given this position somehow by vote. So they have given me a job and I cannot disappoint my clients.
Right. I accept Prabhupada, I accept ISKCON, therefore I have to do what ISKCON tells me to do. But wait. If you're a Mahabhagavat, you don't do what ISKCON asks you to do. ISKCON does what you ask ISKCON to do.
Right.
Because Mahabhagavat means the same level as Prabhupada.
Jai. Hare Krishna. It's like only such a person is eligible to occupy the post of a guru. Uttam Adhikari Mahabhagvat. So why are these this wonderful devotees in ISKCON? They're worshiping these former guys who are not Mahabhagavats. They're being worshipped on the same level as Srila Prabhupada or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is very dangerous.
Well, yes, but they consider for the GBC wanting the organization to succeed, the big fat global corporation to be effective, they have to have spiritual people to be their spiritual touch points. Just like the Catholic Church. If you know anything about the Catholic Church, it makes transparent sense. The GBC is like the Cardinals. They have all the power. They even can elect the Pope. Well, in this case, the Pope is a guru, right?
Right.
So they elect the gurus. They are doing it. First of all, understand that most of the people in the GBC came at a time when all Protestants and Jews and others stopped joining the movement, and only Catholics joined. Why? Because it looked just like Catholicism. After they had an unelected GBC, that proved that ISKCON was to be like Catholicism, even though Prabhupada clearly stated that it was not.
I mean, that was the only type of management they had on a religious scale, right? Catholic.
Right, the Catholic Church?
Yeah.
Well, we have the United States Constitution, and that provides that senators are elected to for 4-year terms to
okay, very good point.
Create a republic.
Yeah, right. Jai.
And
Can we say
Declaration of Independence, and
right,
to the republic for which it stands, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Jai? So you're saying, okay, go ahead.
The Declaration of Independence is on a higher spiritual level than what the GBC are doing right now.
That's what I wanted to. Yes, you basically summed it up. So, right, okay. Rupa, Prabhu, do you want to say anything, Prabhu? I think it's a very important first one we read. This Mahabharata.
Well, it's in black and white that a guru is on the level of the Supreme Lord. So that pretty much makes it clear what we're dealing with and what we're not dealing with.
Yeah.
It's a situation that Prabhupada describes as a blind uncle. He said a blind uncle is better than no uncle. So they're looking. This may not be on the transcendental platform like Prabhupada, but it's the best we can do under the circumstance, meaning it's a blind uncle. We're going to do the best that a blind uncle can do, even though we can't do it on the point of view of an uncle with perfect 20/20 vision.
I mean, they can be like, well, I'm the blind uncle, but here is the actual standard. So that would mean what? I'm a blind uncle, but...
Yes, but because you don't have a non-blind, okay, who's to take the place of the blind? Who will take the place of the blind uncle who's not blind?
Who's going to take the place of a blind uncle that is not blind? So I'm referring to like this. The initiators in ISKCON, they can be like, oh, yes, the scripture says the person should be a Mahabhagavat, but I am not a Mahabhagavat, nor am I even close. But because I have some experience in management, I've chanted all my rounds, I'm following the standard, I can help you in answering your questions.
That's not what it's all about, though.
Why not?
Because it's not about answering questions. If everybody wants to answer questions, they can read Prabhupada's books. And they know it, we know it, the congregation knows it. Everybody knows it. What it's for is to give legitimacy to the unelected GBC.
Oh, that's just the purpose.
Yeah. Because what if they went for truth? Well, let's follow what Prabhupada said. Well, he said to elect the GBC for 3-year terms. What happened? Oh, we decided that Prabhupada didn't know how to run corporations, but we're Americans and Europeans and whatnot. We're expert in the West with corporations. So we'll create a corporation in which we have money and power for ourselves and control over the temples, which means very few temples will be built, like Los Angeles. One temple out of 8 million people or whatever it is in Los Angeles.
Haribol. All right. Okay.
Right?
Yes. Okay.
So if there had been the direction of management, and if the GBC had acted as I had given examples of how I acted in Detroit and Buffalo and Boston and stuff like that in New York, I went there and fixed things up, made it work better. That's what the GBC was supposed to do. They were the servants of the temple. When I came into the temple in Detroit, they didn't all bow down and say, "Oh, Master, you've come here to deliver us." No, I just did what had to be done to get them up to speed with what was happening with Prabhupada in Los Angeles and the other temples that were ahead of the game in terms of following Prabhupada's most recent. You remember, back then, it wasn't like Prabhupada gave an order and that was it. He gave orders and they were incrementally more complicated, more intricate. So the big challenge was then, how do you get one temple to distribute the latest orders or the latest gifts from Prabhupada, the latest pujas, the latest prayers? How do you get it to another temple that may have been there in 1966, but they don't know, you know?
Okay. So,
for instance, when I went to New York, I taught them all how to use, of all things, that's the original temple. I taught them how to use ghee lamps and camphor lamps and the chamara and all that. They didn't know how to do it because they predated it. But I came from Los Angeles, where Shilavati was in charge of the, was the top pujari, and Prabhupada would school her in what the next level of seva was.
okay.
The next level of the puja, the next level of arti. And when that happened, then gradually, meaning gradually, we didn't have internet. Gradually, that information leaked out to the other temples.
Okay.
So when I went to Detroit, I was fresh out of Los Angeles. So I was able to share with them all those things.
Yeah. I mean, I had a similar experience here reading Prabhupada's books, lectures on management and stuff. I tried to share it with the devotees here, but they never got it because they bought into the so-called corporate style guru business or GBC business management. So they were not able to think outside the box and, do the needful,
Yeah, well, you have that Paranjan and Rupa and Yasodanandan busy barking like dogs up on a tree at a squirrel called the gurus.
Yeah.
They were all concerned with the gurus. I was concerned with the tree.
Right.
How did the guru get up there?
No, you were concerned with the root.
Yeah, I'm concerned with the fact that the tree is holding up the squirrel and the tree is the GBC, unelected GBC.
Yeah, right.
Why is it that the temple presidents are not controlling the GBC?
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
I mean,
we can't even talk about it right now in this meeting because we can't imagine it. We can't imagine that the temple presidents control the GBC. Can we?
Anyways, I want to go back to number 2.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Srila Prabhupada, Atma-vid means a self-realized soul or bona fide spiritual master. Unless one is self-realized and knows what his relationship with the super soul is, he cannot be a bona fide spiritual master. Here it is recommended that one should seek out a bona fide spiritual master and surrender unto him, Archanam, for by inquiring from him and worshipping him, one can learn spiritual activities. Wow. Here, this is very important. Atmavid means a self-realized soul. So one must ask, is this person they're taking so-called, the voted in guru, is he a self-realized soul? Then he should ask, unless one is self-realized and knows his relationship with the super soul, he cannot be a bona fide spiritual master. So if, first of all, if he's self-realized, that means that he knows his relationship with Paramatma, right?
Yes. Well, look at the situation. We're so concerned about the bona fide guru or the non-bona fide guru or the Kanisadakari guru or whatever,
Right.
But what if I kept on telling Paranjan and Yasoda, it's not the gurus, it's the GBC. The gurus are simply the sock puppets that are keeping people entranced while the GBC does their prophet, adoration, and distinction thing in the background.
Right, they're pulling the strings.
Now,
yes.
Let me ask you, Ramachandra Prabhu, right now, a simple, straightforward question. Is that okay?
Sure. Hare Krishna.
What would happen if you took away, that you could just take them like genies and put them in a bottle? What would happen if you got rid of the GBC right now? You just put them on an island and threw away the key.
No more elected gurus.
Well, what would happen to the present gurus?
The present, them?
Yeah,
That is a good question, Rupa. That's for you.
that's the question.
I don't know.
Well, wouldn't you imagine that the first thing they'd have to do is explain how they became gurus?
Yes, they would have to be say,
And now think about this spiritual bullshit about this, that, and I studied Prabhupada's book, blah, blah. None of that. None. All the question is, how did you become a guru? Then answer the question. How did they become guru? One of them, let's not deal with all of them. One of them. Sir, how did you become a guru? How did he become a guru?
Well, I'm a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and they have this system called the unelected GBC system, which we did not follow the instructions of our spiritual master, and we distorted the whole document, and then
they wouldn't say that. If they did, we could offer our obeisances to them. That meant that they had an inkling of knowledge. What if they said, I became guru because I was appointed by a government body. I was appointed by the government of ISKCON.
Yes, that's what they say. That's a straight. That's all of them are approved and governed by the governing body commission, so they can elect and deselect and select who they want.
So the guru, we're doing what Paranjan and Yasoda did, going along drooling and biting our hind ends with our teeth about gurus. It's not about the gurus. Anyone could be a guru.
Yeah.
They don't have to even be a devotee to be a guru. All they have to be is elected, right?
Right.
All they have to be is appointed by the GBC.
Right. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
There's nothing more to that. So when we start talking about the qualifications of gurus, guess what? We're making complete fools of ourselves, asses of ourselves.
When we talk about
because the GBC sits there saying, good, those idiots are talking about gurus, which we appoint whenever we damn feel like it. But they never talk about us. They don't talk about GBC. It's just too big a topic. GBC is running the whole movement, which the GBC arranged to make into a corporation that Prabhupada didn't want.
Yes, Narayan Prabhu. You're saying that whenever people attack the gurus, they're attacking the wrong people. They should see the system, how the system is functioning, and see that
how the system was completely rejected
Yes.
by the first group of GBCs in 1970.
Oh,
Rejected.
right.
I mean, it's hard for us to imagine that any disciple of Prabhupada would openly reject his written order.
Hmm.
It's hard for us to imagine because
yeah, right.
then we fool ourselves by saying, but Prabhupada worked with this guy and that guy, Bhagavan and this guy. We worked with them and they called them GBC. He didn't seem to object. That's neither here nor there. If you reject, supposing you come into somebody's house with a pistol and they say, get out of here, this is my house. Yeah, it may be your house, but I've got the pistol. Now you do what I say. So then everybody had to do what they said because they had the pistol. What was the pistol? They had the power of the checkbook.
Power of the checkbook.
Well, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
They controlled the books, which Prabhupada wanted controlled by the BBT, the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. He didn't want ISKCON to have financial control over the publishing and distribution of books. He wanted them to distribute books, but have no authority over the printing, publishing, and distributing to the temples. That was to be negotiated with the book trust, Bhaktivedanta Book Trust.
Okay, so we're going to go to the third quote. Okay, this quote here.
Have we finished this quote? Have we resolved that it's not a problem? The gurus are simply doing what any Catholic priest has to do in a Catholic church under the authority of the cardinals and the bishops and the whatnot.
Yeah, the gurus are just a mouthpiece for the GBC.
Yeah, more or less. It doesn't matter. They can read pure scripture and agree with Prabhupada at every point. And then that makes the GBC more powerful. Because everybody says it sounds bona fide to me.
Manjari Prabhu, do you want to say anything? This one here, the one highlighted.
Well, I think Atmavit is an interesting phrase that we should look up and see if there's more that he said about it.
Very good, very good. I'll look it up right now.
Good. That's a good point.
How do you go? All right, let me search it real fast. Atmavit. All right. Mahaprabhu, Hare Krishna. I muted you because a lot of noise was coming in, scratching noise. So whenever there's noise, I mute.
Mahaprabhu is back?
Mahaprabhu's here, yeah.
Yeah, he got off work at 8. He must be in his car.
Yes. So.
Absolutely, Prabhus. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mahaprabhu. Jai. Okay.
You know, who did I have the honor of seeing and then embracing today?
Yes, sir. Yes, Prabhu.
I embraced Mahaprabhu.
Jai Mahaprabhu.
Can I request a name change?
Oh, yes, let's do it. Haribol. 1 second.
Thank you, Haribol Prabhu. Thank you, Das.
Haribol. Mahaprabhu. Okay. Rupa,
Thank you.
After a name change, I keep thinking you're not happy with Mahaprabhu.
I keep seeing Mark Yacone.
Okay, Rupa, here's the synonyms. Atmavit, a knower of the spirit soul. Let's see, it comes up 6 times in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Let's see.
6 times only?
Yeah, Atmavit, of the self-realized soul. Then here Prabhupada says, oh, that's the quote, huh? Atmavit means a self-realized soul or bona fide spiritual master. That's the quote you shared. Okay, let's go to the third hit. Self-realized soul, okay.
We can start using that in our writing to describe Prabhupada.
Atmavit, self-realized.
Atmavit,
yes.
yeah.
Atmavit, of the self-realized. Fully conscious. It's saying Atmavit, fully conscious by self-realization.
It's interesting how each definition is slightly different than the previous ones.
Very good observation. Atmavid.
Because the truth is multifaceted. It's not a different truth, but it has different facets. You know, like they put up the ball in the middle of a ballroom with mirrors all over it and shine lights on it and it flashes everywhere. It's the same
Yeah.
light, but it's sparkling all over the place.
Jai,
Right.
okay. Jai, all right. Haribol. Okay, here Prabhupada talks about how rich people cannot be Atmavid. The Rothschild. Okay. Okay, let's continue with our
No,
reading.
what that was about Rothschild?
Here. Okay, Rupa, can you knock this out?
Generally,
Hold on, Rupa. Let me highlight it so people can see. There you go. Thank you.
generally, people, they are thinking that, quote, I am now constructing this big skyscraper building. I am successful. I have become Rothschild. I have become Paul. That is not Atmavit. Atmavit, because he is materially opulent, that does not mean Atmavit. That's a subject matter that will be discussed in the next verse. Apashyatam Atma Tatvam. One who cannot see his Atma. Griheshu Griha Medhinan. They are compact in this materialistic way of life. Griheshu Griha Medhinam. Their condition is very, actually, this is the position of the whole world. They are not Atmavit. They do not require Atma Tattvam, therefore they are less intelligent. Therefore I say that our propaganda is to make people more intelligent.
Jai. All right.
That's wonderful. It seems to me that the word Atmavit could be Atmavidya. Also, you know, that Vit is maybe a component of Vidya or visionary.
And also Ramachandra, you can do a search for Atmavit without the hyphen, because I saw that was the search result. So there
Okay.
might be a bunch more under the Atmavit without the hyphen.
Okay, Atmavit without the hyphen. Let's see. Atmavit, it comes up 7 times. It's same hits.
Same quotes?
Yeah. Vidya, Vidya. Atma Vidya doesn't come up.
I just said that. Oh, you're not finding it.
Atma Vidya, okay, it comes up, but it's I'll show you here so devotees can see. You said Atma Vidya, so I looked it up. Now I go here. It comes up here. Atma Vidya.
Is it different?
Yeah, it's a different word. Totally. It's not.
It's spelled differently too, but what does it mean that's different?
Let's see. Atma Vidya. Okay. Here, Prabhupada is using Atma Vidya as, what is it? The supreme. Okay. Atma Vidya, or transcendental knowledge of himself, was primarily spoken by the Lord. Primarily spoken by the Lord for the benefit of all concerned in all parts of the universe. So he's talking about knowledge. And the other one, Atmavid, was talking about actual realization. It's just in 2 different contexts. Atmavidya means transcendental knowledge, and Atmavid means he's realized person, self-realized, or God-conscious person. You know.
Well, they're conspicuously related, right?
Yeah, they're related, dealing with how can you say,
I'm
knowledge.
not suggesting they're the same word, but that the Vit must be related to Vid.
Yeah. So you have to be a Sanskritist to kind of, I mean, Vit, I guess we can look up Vit, what that means. Atma means soul. Okay, I want to continue back to our quotes that Rupa shared. So
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, let me read. So that was from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 28th verse, chapter 2. So we're going to read this one. Srila Prabhupada, if you are incapable of raising yourself to the standard of becoming spiritual master, this is not your spiritual master's fault. That is your fault. So this part here, people usually argue that, hey, Prabhupada initiated some 5,000 disciples. But don't you think any of them are qualified Uttam Adhikari, Atmavit, self-realized spiritual masters? So this kind of debunks the whole quote that Prabhupada initiated me and now I can also be a guru. Prabhupada is saying here, just because you are in the spiritual path doesn't make you a spiritual master. If you're not Atmavit.
Particularly if we understand that everybody that Prabhupada initiated became satisfied to remain on the Kanistha Adhikari platform.
Yeah, yes, raising yourself.
What is this distinction? Everyone in ISKCON knows Aham Brahmasmi, I am not this body, I am spirit soul.
Yes.
But when they talk, when they speak, when they write, when they think, when they feel, when they relate to others, it's all through the body.
Yes. Yeah.
You don't see the way you do with like Bhakti Siddhanta, that his body is simply encasing the consciousness that's speaking.
That's a very good. Encasing the consciousness that's speaking. Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah, because when we speak, the body's not speaking. The body doesn't know how to speak. The body just does what the mind and the soul tell it to do.
Yeah. This distinction is, you made a very good distinction that, the body is just like a machine, but the consciousness, the spirit soul, the liberated soul is speaking through the body.
Well, not through the body. He's speaking.
I mean, not through the body, but emanating this body, so the voices are coming out and you can hear.
Well, coinciding. It's like right now you're wearing a coat and a hat, so you're speaking through the coat and the hat.
Yeah.
It's not that you can't speak unless you take your clothes off.
Right.
Right?
Jai, yes. Yeah, that's a very good point. Hare Krishna, that's the only point.
The body is simply, I'm the driver of the car. If I'm the driver of the car, I can roll down my window and talk to somebody outside the car. That doesn't mean the car has anything to do with it. The car is just sitting there running out of gas while it's idling.
Jai. Prabhupada is saying here that, I'm giving everyone the order to become a spiritual master and Uttam Adhikari, but if you don't become an Uttam Adhikari, it's not my fault.
Right.
Basically, right?
Well, yeah.
If you are incapable.
I don't know. Are you aware of anyone blaming Prabhupada for them not becoming a pure devotee? My perception is that they all claim to be pure devotees and wouldn't dare go near that topic of, I failed to become a pure devotee because you're not a good teacher.
Oh, that
I can understand that in the Hindu community. If you have some guy that's all puffed up and he's taking money from people, he's got a beard and he's doing a professional Bhagavad reciting or something, and he said, you're not bona fide because did not become bona fide. It sounds more like that's what Prabhupada's talking about. But when you have a pure devotee speaking, I have never met a single person in ISKCON who claimed that they were on the same platform of Srila Prabhupada.
Krishna. Jai.
They claim that they can act on that platform by being a bona fide guru, but they never claim to be of that same caliber. I mean, how could they?
I mean, how can they act? Prabhupada's acting and their acting is totally different.
Yeah.
Prabhupada was acting from that, descending process, not trying to ascend to Prabhupada's process.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Okay. So then he says, then I'm reading this sentence here. Okay. He wants, just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Hamara Agya Guru Hana. By my order, every one of you become a guru. if you cannot carry out the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then how he can become a guru? So what is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order here, one may ask? I mean, Prabhupada is talking about two different points here, no? I mean, a guy getting a book and reading the whole Gita in a couple of days can become a guru by saying, oh, I read this wonderful book called the Bhagavad Gita as it is. It answered all of my questions about spiritual life, the soul, life after death. So in that way, he's a guru by telling whatever he has learned from Prabhupada's books and repeating it. So he's a guru. But that does not make him an Uttamadakari, self-realized spiritual master or Diksha guru, right?
Correct.
So
Right.
in this case, that is what I think that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is talking about. You understand this Krishna conscious philosophy, at least the basics, and then you tell others about it, right? Not to accept someone else's.
Well, that's another concept of guru that Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya put out. Lord Chaitanya said, on my order, become guru. What does that mean? On my order, go and teach people to chant Hare Krishna. Or
Right.
if you can't teach them to chant, you chant and let them listen. And if you can't, they don't want to listen, then chant louder, so they have to listen.
Yeah, my understanding
So that is the essential task of guru. So you can say that anyone who obsessively teaches people to chant or chants obsessively or will not stop for lunch like Haridas, but wants to chant obsessively, if all of these people are chanting obsessively, then you can say he is guru. And then
Right.
you say, well, will he take disciples? Good God, no. He's chanting. He is not a Mahabhagavat, he's just chanting. So what do you call a guru? Because what else does a guru do since Lord Chaitanya broke open the storehouse of love of God and broke out the holy name of Krishna so that anyone could access it? What else would a person do other than spread the holy name? So that person is just like the Mahamantra is an avatar of Krishna. Oh no,
Right.
It's just a name. It's Krishna's name. It's not an avatar. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the name is the avatar. The chanting is the guru. If anyone is chanting, the mantra is the guru.
So here, the
But if
ISKCON.
you're willing to chant, then you're the guru of the guru, meaning you're the guru of the mantra.
Hmm.
But guru in that sense means you're giving something they did not have before.
Right.
That's the
Right.
bottom line root definition of guru.
Yes.
Guru
Heavier
does not
in knowledge.
imply
Yeah.
a bank account and Rolls Royce.
Yeah. Guru means, Prabhupada uses the word guru, heavy in knowledge, heavier than you in knowledge.
Heavier than me, he said.
Yeah, heavy. Yeah. So here, then Srila Prabhupada says in the first qualification is that he must be able to carry out the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then he becomes guru. So that carrying out the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu depends on one's personal capacity. Yeah?
Prabhupada said that?
Yes.
Yes. On one's personal capacity.
I mean,
That's
you can
why-
see.
That's why there is no guru after Prabhupada. According to Ramachandra, according to your capacity, chant. To that degree, you are guru.
Right.
To that degree. Well, am I guru enough to initiate people?
No.
We don't need anyone to initiate people.
Right.
Initiating people is not what a guru does. That's
Right.
what the payoff is for people that imagine themselves to become gurus, because that's distinction, adoration, distinction, profit, adoration, and distinction.
That's
Oh, now that I'm an exemplary devotee, then I will get followers, then I'll get money, then they will carry me around, they'll buy me airplane tickets, they'll worship my feet, and they'll give me garlands.
yeah.
That's called Maya.
I mean, one significant point here is in this one realization that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being this, confidential servant of God, Radharani and Krishna appearing, he went on chanting Hare Krishna. That's how he made devotees. Initiation, he only gave to a very tiny amount of people, if you think about it in that.
Well, they tell you the honest truth. If you hear the Maha Mantra, according to the Maha Mantra being, if you hear the Maha Mantra once, you're going to go back to Godhead, right?
No, that's fine. But I'm trying to draw on this.
Wait. Do we accept that?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Then the Maha Mantra is the Guru.
Yes, Maha Mantra is the Guru coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was chanting and dancing.
No, not coming. The Maha Mantra is the Supreme Personality.
Oh, okay, yes, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It has descended from Goloka Vrindavan, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the prime example of chanting and dancing. And why weren't people so anxious to be initiated back then?
They didn't require initiation.
That's what I'm getting at. So
Yes.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the Hare Krishna mantra, and Srila Prabhupada brought it here. So you don't need a guru. What's the reason for having?
The only reason why we have the Guru of Thakur Bhaktivedanta, Gorkashore Das Babaji, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and Prabhupada was simply like when there's a fire and you get a bunch of people with buckets, a bucket brigade, they fill up the water and they hand it down the line and they throw it on the fire.
Right.
But Prabhupada,
He fulfilled that.
left us with everything we need.
Jai.
That's the thing which the people thought, well, he's the Guru. I'm not anywhere near as good as he is, but somebody's going to have to be Guru after him. So it might as well be me. That in itself is the disqualification from even being a devotee.
Right.
If you think like that, you're not qualified to take initiation.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching Bhakti Vikas's video today. He was talking about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and he was saying this point that, you need a guru, so it might as well be me. Basically, what you just said here.
He said about himself?
Yeah, about himself. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered everyone to become a guru. So, we need a guru. We need hundreds of gurus. Basically, that's what he was saying. But he doesn't touch on these topics about how one has to be Atmavit, self-realized.
All we need is the village idiot chanting the holy name loudly.
Jai.
That's the best. That is the best guru.
That's the best guru, Jai.
Yeah,
Okay.
If you want to know what to do, ISKCON has all sorts of standards what to do. Don't eat meat. Don't drink alcohol. I mean, that's not topics for gurus. That's a topic for human society.
Right.
How can we say, well, it's spiritual to not eat meat? No, it isn't. There's nothing spiritual about not eating meat. But you can't get anywhere spiritually if you do eat meat.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So we have to keep on simplifying this down because we're so caught up, as is Bhakti Vikas, in the mythology of what a guru is, meaning a person that takes charge of you. I rebutted very brutally on one of these pages. Somebody, Bhakti Vikas, was saying, if your guru falls down, don't make a big deal about it. Just go on with your life. That's what he said.
Wow.
And I wrote a complete attack on his view. I wish I remembered where I attacked him. But essentially, it was based on the idea that if a guy falls down, he can't be a guru in the first place.
Right. No. How was he guru from the beginning? Why was he a guru in the beginning?
He wasn't. At the beginning, he was a karmi that became a brahmachari.
Right. Karmi became a brahmachari. Then after the acharya disappears, he becomes someone who he's not.
Well, He doesn't become someone he's not. He's a jiva. He's pure spirit soul.
No,
He stays being pure spirit soul. He doesn't become what he's not.
well, he takes a role that he's not qualified for. Let's put it that way. He's still spirit soul, but he takes on a role.
No, but the thing is, there is no such role. By saying there's a role, we buy into the role. There is no role. If you want to know what there is, there's the holy name and there's Prabhupada's books. There's no roles anywhere, even for breakfast. Where's the roles? There are no roles.
Yes, you're right.
You follow the full regular. First of all, nobody should imagine that they're not a Kanistha Adhikari. If they can imagine that, then let them show some symptoms of not being a Kanistha Adhikari. And we have to remember, Kanistha Adhikari goes all the way from this guy vomiting out booze and stoned out of his mind on crack, crawling in the temple room door, asking to be shaved up. That's where his spiritual life begins. As soon as he does that and agrees to follow the regular principles and takes a bath every once in a while, then you have a person there that's a devotee on the Kanistha Adhikari platform. Where on the Kanistha Adhikari platform? On the very lowest rung of the Kanistha Adhikari platform. But there's a major difference between the guy before he crawled in the door and the guy who became a Kanistha Adhikari when he stopped drinking and eating meat in the temple room. When he went to Brahmacharya ashram, he became fixed up and he begins to understand things as his hangover disappears gradually. So that's the lowest level of Kanistha Adhikari. Okay, let's go to the other extreme. Kanistha Adhikari has got to be a very broad topic. It's like going from Los Angeles to New York City on foot. What is the high level of Kanistha Adhikari? He's a person that's almost ready to become a Madhyama Adhikari. He is a person who is probably worships like anything, chants his rounds so beautifully that people weep when they hear it, that he's a pujari and the deities weep when he does the puja. That's a Kanistha Adhikari too. It could be the same guy after some years. Right?
Yeah.
So nobody should think Kanistha Adhikari is either high or low. It's low when you start and it's high when you end.
Right.
There's nothing low about a first-class pujari who's married, has saintly children like you.
One devotee I was talking to, he said that they're not even Kanistha Adhikaris. He said, I'm a Kanistha Adhikari, but I know I should not be a guru, a Diksha guru. You know.
But remember, a Kanistha Adhikari, all it takes to be a Kanistha Adhikari is, and we've recited over time, chant 16 rounds, follow the regulated principles, read from Prabhupada's books, attend morning and evening class if you're in a temple, chant the Prabhupada's melodies, dance the Swami step, play the Aditala Mridanga beat, kartals.
Right.
And then go out on doing all of those things well, or even badly, go out in the street and chant those things in front of others, knowing that that is the mission of Lord Chaitanya. Not sitting in a temple, not running a restaurant, not getting married and hanging out in your apartment watching TV. Right?
Right.
What Lord Chaitanya has given us to do is you become the Kanistha Adhikari, then you go out and make others Kanistha Adhikari.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with Kanistha Adhikari. To say that the Kanistha Adhikari can become the guru, it's like a little kid saying, my father's a fireman, and I put on his fireman's hat, so now I'm a fireman. Well, that's hardly true.
Yeah.
The hat is true. The hat's the good part. You know, he's got a Vyasa sun under his house.
Joy.
But you see what I'm saying? That
Yeah,
to be
right.
the actual, to do anything as a guru, you can't just pretend like the little kid or like a little girl stepping around in her mother's high heel shoes, where her feet doesn't even, she just scuffles along because she's pretending that she's her mother. Right?
Okay.
We've all seen that,
Right.
or most people have seen that. That children imitate the parent.
Yes. Prabhupada says that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if the people imitate the parent, why wouldn't the disciple, if he's vulnerable, stupid, and maybe a little bit wicked, or at least imperceptive, why wouldn't he want to imitate the guru?
Right. Right.
Back in the day in Los Angeles, there was a little boy who was like 6 years old.
Hmm.
A very nice looking kid with shaved head and everything. Shilabhati's son. And he would put on he used to do something funny. He would put on he had his bead bag, he put on a coat, he put on a Swami hat, he got a cane, and he put his head in his bead bag, and he'd be chanting, going around and around the block, chanting Hare Krishna, imitating Prabhupada. You see what I mean? Same coat, same hat, bead bag,
Yes.
cane. He was imitating Prabhupada.
Mm-hmm.
The devotees got very upset with him. I thought it was funny, but the devotees got very upset with him. Oh, you can't imitate Prabhupada. But he was just doing it playfully, I don't think there was any harm in it. If he did it when he was 40, there would be harm in it.
Okay, so we're at the Rupa Manjari Prabhu. Do you want to say anything about this one?
No.
I'd like to hear something from you. Anything?
Okay, let's see. Well, what stands out to me is that it's Prabhupada saying it's your own fault if you don't become a pure devotee. So it's not just enough that we praise Prabhupada or,
Wow. Yeah,
like we have to actually apply ourselves.
Very cool. Right. It's not just theory and glorifying Srila Prabhupada. We should actually come to the standard, pure devotional standard, become a pure devotee.
Or
Right.
more to the point, we should recognize that we are unable to come to the standard, and that we will probably never in our own lifetime be able to come to the standard. So better to be a faithful dog than a dog personifying the master.
Right. Better be a faithful
look,
dog. Right.
What we're doing is we're cutting through the Maya that we've accepted from these guys. We've accepted, oh, you want to get a guru. You're born of a guru. You're not a born of a guru. How close to a born of a guru? None of the above. We don't need a guru.
We have a guru.
Well,
The Mahamantra.
Prabhupada
Yes.
is our acharya, but we don't need to create. There's no need for a guru to be manufactured to carry on the movement. They're all worried. Well, if we don't have a guru, then the movement will stop. The movement's got to keep going, and that guru will have other gurus, and that guru will go on.
Bhakti Vikas was saying this today. He was saying that what you just said, that we need gurus because otherwise the movement will stop. That's what you said right now.
Oh, then he's completely in Maya.
Right.
So if he's supposedly a guru and he's completely in Maya, then he should get different sort of disciples than the devotees.
Yes, that's what I commented. I said the disciplic succession will continue without you and without me. It's Prabhupada is carrying it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's doing all that.
You said that?
Yeah, I quoted in his talk.
How did you get into the conversation with Bhakti Vikas?
No, my preaching was just for the people who are watching, just kind of.
What did you do? You put a written comment?
Written comment, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Speaking of gurus, how's Vaisheshika doing with his COVID?
I don't know. We don't know if he has COVID or not. Anyways, I'd like to read this here.
We had COVID when he left Los Angeles.
Yeah. Anyways, this last, Rupert, do you want to make any more comments, Prabhu, about?
No, that's fine.
Okay, so the last one. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 28, verse 48. Srila Prabhupada says, the main business of human society is to think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead at all times, to become his devotees, to worship the Supreme Lord and bow down before him. The Acharya, the authorized representative of the Supreme Lord, establishes these principles, but when he disappears, things once disappears. Okay, but when he disappears, is that right? Yeah, disappears, things once again become disordered. The perfect disciples of the Acharya try to relieve the situation by sincerely following the instructions of the spiritual master.
Yeah, well, is that
You don't need
written
it.
by Prabhupada? Is that
Yeah.
written by Prabhupada?
Yes, this is a Srimad Bhagavatam purport by Srila Prabhupada. So this is what Srila Prabhupada is doing through his books. You know, he's teaching the main business of human society is to think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead at all times, to become his devotees, to worship the Supreme Lord, and to bow down before him. So Srila Prabhupada established all these things here, right here.
So why do you need a guy that's eating, sleeping, and passing stool to tell you that?
Yeah, that's what I'm pointing out here. That was my next. You pulled up on it. The Acharya, the representative here, then it goes, the Acharya, the authorized representative of the Supreme Lord, establishes these principles. Srila Prabhupada did this already in his books, in his writings, in his letters, in his conversations. But when he disappears, things once again becomes disordered. So this is what we're dealing with here. No?
Is that what you just read that?
Yes.
I might suggest that quote from Prabhupada's writing is practically verbatim things that Bhaktisiddhanta also wrote that I've read.
Yes, disordered. Yeah, I mean, disordered, and in a sense, how is it disordered? I mean, how would we define disordered? ISKCON is still going on. I mean, they're changing the books, they're electing gurus and this and that. So these are
when you say ISKCON, what do you mean by ISKCON?
ISKCON in a sense where, you mean define ISKCON? I'm talking about the corporate ISKCON.
ISKCON is going on. I'm saying ISKCON is Prabhupada and his books and his instructions.
Yeah, that is going. Yes. Okay. Let's define ISKCON. When I said ISKCON, I'm meaning the corporate ISKCON of change.
Superficially, they are acting as Kanishta Adhikaris.
Yeah, superficially they're acting as Kanishta Adhikaris, and so how can I understand this? That it's the corporate is
what?
The corporate ISKCON. Would we call that ISKCON?
Of course. What else are you going to call it?
The corporate ISKCON of electing gurus and changing books, is that ISKCON?
It's not the ISKCON that Prabhupada created, but it carries out most of his major points, which is follow the four regulative principles, chant Hare Krishna, go to morning and evening class. If they went out on Sankirtan chanting Prabhupada's melodies, that would definitely be ISKCON. No, it's like saying if a pot of very excellent milk gets something dirty dropped into it, is it the fault of the milk?
No.
You have to deal with it. You have to filter the milk to purify it.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with ISKCON. People are misusing it. And why are they misusing it? Because nobody is preventing them from misusing it. So whose job is it to prevent them from misusing it? Well, ultimately, it's the disciples. If these guys have disciples, it's their job to make sure that it's not misused by reading what their spiritual masters or their gurus are supposedly teaching them, which is read Prabhupada's books. So if they read the Prabhupada and they read the Direction of Management, they say, Guru, why are you teaching me all sorts of stuff, but you're not teaching the Direction of Management?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Remember, Bali Maharaj, Sukracharya,
Mm.
and Vamana the dwarf.
Right.
Sukracharya gave orders, gave instructions to, gave instructions that were opposite of what he had taught before.
Right. Right.
So he questioned his guru, why have you given me instructions that are the opposite? Says, because this is not an ordinary dwarf in front of us. This is Vishnu.
Jai.
He said, but you said we do everything to worship Vishnu. If Vishnu is person, you're sure that's Vishnu? Yes. So, but then don't you understand that Guruji, Bali Maharaj says to Sukracharya, then we should worship Vishnu. That's what you told me. He said, yeah, but if he do worship this Vishnu, he'll take everything of yours away.
Mm. Jai.
I said, well, why is that a bad thing? If Vishnu is God, why is that a bad thing if he gives or takes? That's his choice.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, Bali Maharaj had no choice but to break with
The bogus
Sukracharya.
guru. No, I'm just kidding. He was not a bogus guru.
Well, he's bogus in the sense that the word, you know what Sukracharya means?
Sukha.
What is Sukra?
I don't know. You tell me.
Semen.
Ah, acha, acha. I see.
Sukracharya means he is the acharya of the material lineage, not Krishna consciousness.
Hmm.
So Sukracharya, semen means one generation after the next, right?
Right, right. Yes. Bodies, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. In bodily consciousness. But remember, Bali Maharaj was a demon,
Eyeball.
or at least technically a demon. Remember, Prahlad Maharaj was a demon, technically.
Ah, right.
We worship Prahlad, but he was in the line of the Daitya demons.
Right.
So they had to go according to their dharma. They had to go according to their gotra.
Haribol,
Okay.
okay. Jai, okay.
So that means that Sukracharya gave him material advice, not spiritual advice, and it came to a crux, a crux meaning a cross in the road, a line in the sand, where if you are taught to worship Vishnu to get your material prosperity, and then Vishnu comes to take away your material prosperity, that's an interesting clash, right? Now, Sukracharya had the opportunity at that point to say to Bali, Bali, I've taught you all this material stuff, but now Vishnu is here, do what he says. That would have been a great opportunity for Sukracharya to transcend the Sukra part of his acharyaness. But he didn't. He told him to disobey Vishnu, in which case Bali Maharaj said, I have accepted your teaching that Vishnu is the supreme being. I can't reject him. And since I can't reject him and obey you, then I reject you. Right?
Right.
So
Right.
the same thing is happening really in ISKCON, is they leave out all the important stuff for spiritual realization and put in all the stuff to make them a loyal disciple of themselves. So they're very much like Sukracharya in that regard.
Nice. Jai, yeah, exactly. So, okay. So the last sentence I'd like to read. The Acharya, the authorized representative of the Supreme Lord, establishes these principles, but when he disappears, things once again become disordered. The perfect disciples of the Acharya try to relieve the situation by sincerely following the instructions of the spiritual master. Jai.
Oh, that's a good example there. That's what Bali Maharaj did.
Right.
He was given contrary orders, and he decided to follow the highest order,
Yes. So this
which
is
for him wasn't difficult because everything he did was depending, according to Sukracharya, everything he did was depending on Vishnu.
right.
So all he did was he went back to that teaching, even though Sukracharya mysteriously rejected his own teaching when Vishnu actually showed up.
Right. Yeah, that is a very important point. How Bali Maharaj rejected his spiritual master because he gave advice which was not beneficial for his spiritual life.
And
Right.
therefore, we can advise the disciples of Bhaktivikash to reject him
Right. Yeah.
because he's telling them bogus ideas.
Jai.
Just like he said, if your guru falls down, get over it. It's no big deal. Then what does that mean? If your guru falls down and he's bona fide, he can't fall down. So if he can't fall down, why do you say it's no big deal if he does fall down?
Right. Right. Yeah. It's
And Bhaktivikash is forgetting an important detail. You gave your karma and your life to your guru, and he fell down. He obtained so much karma from maybe 100 or 200 individuals. Look at you and me, Ramachandra. Don't we have a hard time struggling through our own karma?
oh man, tell me about it.
Supposing that one, you or I, began taking on karma just like yours, just like mine, same level of karma of 100 people.
Well,
Where's the question of survival?
no survival. I mean, it's just insanity.
Yeah. Well, everyone was thinking, because this is what was true for Prabhupada, that the spiritual master doesn't take on the karma. It passes through him to Krishna through the sacred fire. But to tell you the honest truth, Prabhupada did take on karma of his disciples. But he's a pure devotee. And he was protected by Krishna.
Jai. Hare Krishna. So wow, that was a powerful discussion. It answers all the questions about the qualifications of the Diksha Guru Prabhupada standard, and then what's wrong with the present day elected GBC Guru system propaganda that ISKCON is teaching.
We don't have to worry about elected GBC. Just say appointed guru. Who the F can appoint a guru?
That's what I said in their discussion.
Yeah.
I said, who's appointing Bhaktivinoda as a guru? They couldn't answer it.
Yeah. A group of non-elected, how many GBC are there?
I have no idea. I know there are 81 or 91 gurus, so-called gurus. And the GBC, maybe 20, 30 GBC members. A lot of these people who are initiators in ISKCON are also GBC members. They have two posts. One is a guru, one is a GBC.
Yeah, I would say there's probably around 100 GBC.
Could be.
Because when they go to Mayapur, how big is the Mayapur meeting? 20 people?
Oh yeah, it's pretty big. I've been there a couple of times. I've seen them. Yeah, all of them.
So did it look like 20 people or 30 people?
No, there's a lot. Maybe, like you said, 100 or something over. I mean, they have so many branches. They have the GBC, they have the sub-community, they have the strategic community, that community, this, whatever, it's all
So
centralized.
Okay, so those subcategories are not GBC members?
They don't have the power of the GBC members, but they have some clout among the, among the management,
So it's exactly like the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
And the Catholic Church is failing right now. And
Yeah.
from what I understand, the Pope is on the verge of dying.
Right. COVID is going to kill him.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe if he keeps it going in the way he's going, his destiny will be to, in his next birth, is to be aborted before he can take his next birth from a Catholic woman having an abortion.
Okay, so we have some comments from our devotees online. So I'm gonna zoom to that. Okay, some interesting discussion online.
Do you think we provoked any thought?
Oh, of course. I mean, if people watch our videos and discussions, certainly they will get a lot of.
Sometimes we're sort of blah and low key, and sometimes we're right on edge. Today, I think we got through. We were chopping our way through the door of the castle with a sharp axe.
Try, yes. So let's go to our devotee comments on YouTube. Okay. Let's see. We have about 6 devotees watching. Please join our WhatsApp group if you'd like to know when we're going live and if you would like to talk to the devotees present here.
And get your friends to get on too so they can hear.
Try.
Even if they don't want to take part, let them listen in. Get hundreds of friends in to listen in. This is important stuff, and you can make your own valuable contribution.
Try. Okay. Haribol. All right. So here we have Aristo says Hare Krishna. Then Moses Prabhu. Haribol. Haribol, peace and blessings. Om. The Lion Guru. I guess Moses Singleton Prabhu was saying about today is the, I think, appearance or disappearance day of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. One of those.
Disappearance day of Bhaktisiddhanta.
Oh, disappearance. Okay. And then Aristo Prabhu was saying the US is failing and will not exist in 10 years. If Krishna consciousness is not propagated now, the USA is quickly becoming a Stalinist totalitarian state with dope of fascism thrown in. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada said very clearly many times, corruption starts with government. Then Moses Prabhu said,
Arista is a genius.
And then Moses Prabhu saying,
the greatest regard for his powerful intellect.
Joy. And then Moses Prabhu saying, the United States corruption is what
corporation.
Oh, yes. The United States corporation is what is failing. What? Failing?
Yeah.
Whilst the United States Republic is being reconstituted. It is within this process that Krishna consciousness will take root in a new and dynamic form. Joy.
Well, it will, if what? It just will? Or do we have to do it?
Yes.
I'm not a fatalist.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right. I'm just reading the comments right now. We'll discuss in a bit, Prabhu. Aristo is saying 10K League is the only solution for this nightmare of systemic profound evil that has encompassed the USA and much of the world at large. And then Flex Your Style commented, I'm new to ISKCON and tried my best to answer the channel owner as many as my limited knowledge. You would be the best person to satisfy his curiosity. Aristo saying, Hare Krishna, the decentralization of government is in play through devolution, which is stated in the
stated in
the pated codes. What does this mean? Pated codes. And then Moses Prabhu says, this information is readily available online via research. Then Moses Prabhu says, but Krishna consciousness shall be its foundation, unbeknownst to the karmis involved. Unbeknownst to the karmis involved. Moses single, during this time, we should take shelter of Sri Krishna, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's original books. That is the only way forward. Moses Prabhu says, Hare Krishna, Moses, Jai. Chant Hare Krishna, conduct ongoing book distribution, prasadam, and practice 24/7 loyalty to Lord Krishna to return to Godhead. Then Rob says, only with Krishna can we have eternal life, Hare Krishna. Then Moses Prabhu says, the temple presidents are not controlling the GBC due to not having backbones and brainwashing and a lack of unity amongst themselves as well.
Well, that should be responded to, shouldn't it?
Which one, this?
Oh,
Yeah.
that the temple presidents cannot withstand the GBC. The GBC is supposed to be composed of temple presidents who are elected every 3 years.
Yeah.
Why didn't explain that to him? He says the temple president, they're acting like the GBC is a legitimate body of unelected people. As long as we say that, we're in trouble.
Yeah, they're not.
Why not stop for a moment and explain that?
Yeah, according to the direction of management, Srila Prabhupada says the temple presidents would become the GBC.
For 3 years.
For 3 years, yes. And they would, after 3 years, they would have more experience, more talent, more Krishna conscious in managing and planning for big ISKCON, more temples and
they would go back to their temple.
yes.
Go back to their, and there would be no big ISKCON.
A big ISKCON in a sense where the local people are.
No, there'd be little ISKCON. Each temple is ISKCON, individually incorporated. Where's the big ISKCON?
Big ISKCON in a sense, how can you say big ISKCON? I think Prabhupada used the word big ISKCON, no? To plan.
He did.
Big ISKCON in a sense, not like, big ISKCON, one corporate entity. No, big ISKCON meaning hundreds and thousands of ISKCON temples and centers,
He generally referred to big ISKCON meaning meetings to arrange, you see, because nobody obeyed him. Meetings
right.
to arrange for printing a book or acquiring land was not meant for big ISKCON to do. It was meant to be done locally.
Yes, yes.
Printing his books was to be done by the BBT
Trustees
trustees that are lifetime appointees.
Right, right.
So these lifetime appointees would handle all of Prabhupada's writings. So big ISKCON is not how to make big publishing. What they want was big ISKCON, if anything, would be big book distribution. But that doesn't sound like what people are talking about when they say big ISKCON, does it?
Yeah, right. Yeah, the words need to be clearly defined.
They're talking about power and money.
Power and money. Big ISKCON. Yeah, that's what it is.
Neither of which, neither power, neither money has any bearing on Krishna consciousness activities. Krishna consciousness doesn't require money.
Yeah.
It's self-generating, if it self-generates. But if you kill off it's like if a person has reaching like middle age, all of his youthful cells are dying off, and all of his old age cells are growing. Well, the whole thing is supposed to regenerate by good diet, by good activity, spiritual activity, and you renew yourself. It's not that you get old and die. So ISKCON was trying to create the monster GBC thing to avoid getting old and dying. Right? Because they had invested in, they had completely taken over the idea of money and power, or Prabhupada would put it, profit, adoration, and distinction. That's what they wanted ISKCON to be about. That's the opposite of what ISKCON is about. If you surrender to Krishna, Krishna will take care of you. End of story. That's your profit. Your profit is surrender to Krishna. You surrender to Krishna, When I was a brahmachari for a number of years, and even when I was a householder after that, I didn't have to think about getting a job. I just rendered service and I was fed and given clothes, secondhand clothes, but clothes. What did I need? A place to sleep, prasadam, and a devotional service to perform. Easy as that. Yeah. And when I went to like Detroit, they were all ready for medical school to become big shot doctors. And when they saw that we could create that group of people that grew to be like 30 people, from half a dozen to 30 people in the few months I was there, when that happened, they could see we don't need to go and make big money to live. We just make little money. We sell books, we just distribute incense, we do all of these things that are Krishna conscious. And when it comes time to eating, there's opulent prasadam cooked in ghee. Where did it come from? And anybody in those days would say it came from Krishna. We follow Prabhupada's orders, and then we have clothes, we have tilak, we have a place to sleep, we have water to drink. Why not? We're serving Krishna. Why wouldn't Krishna take care of us? But now people are so completely consumed with the material side of living that they can't even imagine that Krishna is going to take care of them if they serve him.
Yeah, that's the difficulty I had when I was trying to help the little guy, our friends here in Sacramento. I said, let's give 30, 40, 50% of our income towards a temple for Srila Prabhupada. But these people never agreed. They always wanted to collect money from the outside. We collect money from the outside people, and not use our own personal savings that we have for Krishna. So
right. So the thing is, we don't need savings if we are surrendered.
Try.
Because Krishna is providing. I mean, it's sort of like, what does the grass think about getting water?
It's raining
it
here.
Rains.
Right.
It rains. What does the grass does? What the grass doesn't have to. People put water pipes in to sprinkle their lawns, but the grass doesn't require, because if there's no water, it won't grow. If it's watered, it will grow. So wherever there's growing grass means water is available.
Try.
So that's what it's like to depend on Krishna. And that's what everybody did back at the beginning. And that's why everyone was so blissful, because nobody was thinking how they had to make profit, adoration, and distinction. But when they got into profit, adoration, distinction, it's a step from there to getting a guru to help you run your affairs profitably.
Krishna. All right.
That's very fascinating.
All right. Let's
There
see.
was another email that I sent you that was all in uppercase and some misspellings. I wonder if you wanted to read that.
What? You sent another email? Which is?
I sent it earlier than these two.
Do you know the title, or do you remember?
Well, how many emails do you get from me in a day?
Oh, in a day? Okay, let me see. All right. Let's see.
I sent it, I think, day before yesterday.
All right. Let's see. Response to transcendental book distribution.
Was that for me?
Yeah, well, let's see, 22, today is the 22nd. So let's see, on the 20th, send it on the 20th? When did you send it? Found the truth about women? No?
That was one of them. That's a quote from Prabhupada.
Right. When Srila Prabhupada speaks, Krishna is speaking. The restoration of ISKCON according to, okay, no, not this one.
Could be later. It came off of a messenger. Somebody had said something in messenger. I replied, then I copied all of that and sent it to you.
Okay.
It's all in uppercase.
No, all your titles are uppercase.
Well, the titles are, but the text was uppercase in this case.
Oh, the text was uppercase. Okay, let's see. Next. Nope, not this.
All no sense in making a big deal out of it, but if you can find something.
No, I can't find it. Let's see here. I think I found it here. Hold on. Let's read it out.
It's an answer to somebody's question.
Okay, let's see if this is the one you were talking about. Share this one. The clearest understanding of Yuga Avatar is that the Supreme Lord Krishna appeared on Earth 550 years ago. Is this the one?
Could be. How long is it?
It's pretty long. It's probably one page, or maybe
How
longer.
does it end?
It ends with when we chant in every town and village, all those who hear, even just once, will have their uncancelable ticket in their shirt pocket.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
Okay, so we have about.
It was in response to somebody that was glorifying book distribution.
Okay, so I'll read it then, huh?
Sure, go ahead. Or
Okay.
Rupert could read it.
Yeah, Rupert, can you read?
Sure. The clearest understanding of Yuga Avatar is that the Supreme Lord Krishna appeared on Earth 550 years ago. That's a typo. He appeared 5,000 years ago. All
Okay.
earthly religions attempt to bring their followers to God. Yuga Avatar means that God himself, the object, destination of all religions, came to eliminate all religions from the earth. Why worship a distant God when that God himself is standing next to you? The Yuga Avatar also eliminated the burnt remnants of the Vedic Dharma of Bharat. As these remnants of Dwapara Yuga religion had become destroyed and subjugated by the Muslims. Hindu was a derogatory term created by the Muslims to assure that what was formerly Sanatan Dharma would be forever inferior to and subjugated by Muslim rule. To top it off, the broke open the storehouse of love.
The Yuga, it got erased. The Yuga Avatar broke open.
The Yuga Avatar broke open the storehouse of love of God and freely distributed the contents to anyone with ears to hear with. The Hare Krishna mantra, heard even once by a Malecha Yavana Sudra, as well as plants, insects, trees, germs as well, guarantees that the hearer, regardless of caste or species, is guaranteed to go back to Godhead as soon as the jiva rids himself of bodily consciousness. Srila Prabhupada delivered the Hare Krishna mantra to the world at large in an astonishingly small number of years, while faced with direct opposition of a majority of those who he initiated. Since the Hare Krishna mantra is in itself a Shaktiveshavatar, and since Krishna himself, known as God to most mortals, is fully present in his holy name, there is no more need for ISKCON gurus after Srila Prabhupada, for the simple reason that such Kanistha Adhikari gurus have nothing to give their initiates aside from the contents of Srila Prabhupada's books, which are written in clear, unambiguous academic style writing that any somewhat intelligent person can easily understand. When Srila Prabhupada was asked, what if we have questions about Krishna consciousness that we could not understand from reading your books? Srila Prabhupada replied, then read them again and again until you understand them. Because they are Kanistha Adhikaris, the ISKCON initiators take on the karma of those that they initiate until the initiators fall down, loaded with the sins of their well-meaning initiates. Their disciples will follow them into their next birth, which will clearly not be Krishna Loka. So if the disciple has become more advanced than his overloaded guru, he may be able to lead his guru back to Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet when he has had to join his guru in an unfortunate next birth, where the guru is being forced into paying off the multiply sourced sins that he took on from those hundreds of jivas that he initiated. So Srila Prabhupada is the last Sampradaya Acharya for the golden age of Kali. Ramachandra, can you read now?
Sure, I gotta mute Mahaprabhu. Okay. So Srila Prabhupada is the last Sampradaya Acharya for the golden age of Kali. When we chant in every town and village, all those who hear even just once will have their uncastable ticket in their shirt pocket for the future airplane that will eventually be going back to Godhead with them on board. With the unrefutable knowledge from above, there is nothing to prevent us from going wild all over the world, chanting the holy name and distributing Srila Prabhupada's books that, when realized, guarantee the rapid journey back to our eternal rasas with Krishna in Krishna Loka. Srila Prabhupada's transcendental book distribution ki jai. Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay, so I wanted to say something here.
Sure.
I mean, in this part here, you are saying because they are, I'll highlight it so you can see. Because they are Kanishta Adhikaris, the ISKCON initiators. So this part, Kanishta Adhikari initiators. I mean, a Kanishta Adhikari initiator would probably understand that, hey, I should not be doing this, what I'm doing. No?
No, it says in the 5th verse, the Kanistha and the Madhya Adhikari can also accept disciples, but they must be on the same level, and they will not make very much progress under their insufficient guidance.
Yes. That's it. Right. You're right.
That's all built in.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Now I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay.
I have a comment.
Yes, Mahaprabhu. Comment.
I'd like to say that everything that was just read, Nara Narayan has been trying to get it into our minds from the inception of this Zoom meeting.
No, you cannot say that. Some things developed over time.
Nara Narayan has been trying to get us to understand that from the inception.
He's talking about this Zoom meeting tonight, right?
No, I'm talking about everything that was just read.
Yes.
You've been trying to explain to us from the beginning.
Yes.
From the insects, from the this, from the that.
Yes.
And I appreciate that, Prabhu.
You're welcome. It's an attempt to debunk it. It's like saying, let's render this down mathematically to its lowest common denominator. Let's not get caught up in the patterns and whirling, gyrating conversations that we can have about things that are very ultra simple in principle, which is spiritual material. Yes. So Mahaprabhu, I honor you as having said something which I feel is extremely perceptive, not because that I was right or saying something wonderful, but because you understood exactly what the point was, to debunk all of this conversation about gurus and stuff like that.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Jai, thank you very much, sincerely.
Thank you very much.
Well, don't thank me. Thank Prabhupada.
You're directing us in the right direction, that's for sure.
Well, he's pulling us in the right direction, and I look, I'm running along with the crowd, and everyone thinks I'm doing something. I'm not. I'm just running with the crowd like you are.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Jai. Haribol.
Haribol.
So anyhow, did we finish that whole thing,
Yes.
Ramachandra?
Yes, we finished the whole thing. Joy. So anyone who's watching this, if they'd like to make a comment or express a doubt or make a correction or complain, sure, they can contact us. Our link is in the description of the video, the WhatsApp group. Or they can send me a message. Yes, Narayan Prabhu.
Ramachandra Prabhu. He read that out. You and Rupa Manjari read that out.
Yes.
Do you want to go over any parts of it and give your own explanation about what was said in that? Because I think Mahaprabhu is correct. It touches on key points. But it's easy enough for us to say, blah, okay, then what's the next topic? Blah, what's the next topic?
Yes.
Why not go into that yourself and see where you agree or disagree?
No, you make these points, if you really look at it, you cannot argue with it. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descended and gave the Hare Krishna mantra, which is Krishna himself, which was not available in the West via a transparent via medium. Who's the transparent via medium? It's Srila Prabhupada. And then he wrote thousands and hundreds of books, and all the answers are there in his books. And any follower of any religion who is sincere and chants Hare Krishna and reads Prabhupada's books, they become empowered. I'm looking at my own life. From whatever background I come from, the Hindu background, my understanding about Krishna and getting this from Srila Prabhupada is a testimony that you don't need a guru. You chant Hare Krishna and depend on Krishna, and everything else is taken care of.
Now we need to take into account, and it wasn't mentioned here, nor was it needed, is that the guru, how do you become initiated? How do you get your Diksha name? How do you take Diksha? The name is less important, but how do you take Diksha, and how do you take second initiation, which is more important, meaning prominent initiation, and then how do you do all of these priestly functions like Pujari?
Rituals. Yeah, more you're talking about the rituals.
Well, they're more than rituals. They're
purificatory rituals.
The Pujari becomes the via medium between the congregation and the deity.
But isn't that still a ritual?
Not a ritual is just done in name only.
Okay, so it's not in name only. It has a scientific basis for it.
No, ritual means you do it because you're supposed to do it, not because there's any potency in it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, good. This is the discussion I was hoping for. Yeah.
And
so keep going.
And here you said the burnt remnants of the Vedic Dharma. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying the only way to transcend out of this material world is by chanting Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so this is...
So nothing else...
Keep going.
I said nothing else is needed. The books are there, the mantra is there, the pure devotee is there, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared just in basically in our lifetime. So what else?
So you get that when the Yuga Avatar appeared, no longer any need for religion, is there?
No. Yeah.
So that means if religion is meant to come to the point of realizing or obtaining the mercy or kindness or salvation or whatever by God, if that's what religion is for, then when the Yuga Avatar comes, that religion becomes like an empty balloon. It's just a piece of rubber hanging there. There's no value to it, because the God you're looking for with all that incredible ritual and money and costumes and repetition of prayers is standing right next to you now.
Mm.
You don't need to have a religion. That goes for Hindu, of course, because Hindu was destroyed anyhow. Hindu is just the burnt remnants of the Vedic culture. But it took me just a short time ago for me to realize the Vedic culture gets destroyed. Everything that existed until Alexander the Great and what's his name? From Persia. I forget his name. Something else the Great. They came into India, they began to subjugate certain kings. And you see, all the kings were subjugated by the emperor, right?
Yeah, the Mughals.
No, I'm talking about in the Vedic times, at the time of Yudhisthira, for him to do the Rajasuya sacrifice.
Yes.
He had to subjugate anybody that didn't agree to bow down.
Right.
And we're not talking about just India. We're talking about America, South America, Africa.
All the continents, yes.
Yeah, where the Vedic culture was until, people have said that Argentina was based on Arjuna, and that there's caves with tunnels with sculptures and paintings inside of them that will go from that big rock in Argentina. No one's ever gone all the way over, but they're beginning to think they may go all the way over to India. Tunnels below the ocean.
Okay, so we got about 3 minutes for Bruce.
Okay, so we're catching the point, I hope, right?
Yes. A lot of people are attached to the rituals. At least the Hindus are. I can see with my.
The last thing I was going to say is that the Vedic culture got swept away by Chaitanya, which is confusing because Prabhupada's books, you read all about Dwarpa Yuga, Krishna in Dwarpa Yuga, right?
Then he says, Harinam, Harinam.
Bhagavatam is all about Dwarpa Yuga's, Krishna's Dwarpa Yuga pastimes, right?
Yeah, a lot of different yugas. Yes.
So we're reading them now to become Krishna conscious, even though the religion itself has been swept away by Lord Chaitanya.
Yes, that's a very good point. It's even
the key point.
Yeah, that's the key point, that even if we read it, it's no benefit to us right now. In one sense,
we're not going to recreate
the
kingdom of Yudhisthira.
Yeah, it's long gone. It's not that time.
We're reading about it so we'll understand Krishna. And when Prabhupada says the reason to read the books is to understand why to chant, so we read about Krishna in Dwarpa Yuga, not now. And that's why we chant. But the whole thing is, in the end, what it boils down to, when the rubber hits the road, when push comes to shove, the only thing we will do is chant.
Joy.
We can have classes in the temple so that people understand why we're chanting. But we don't need to make a big deal out of it. Why did Prabhupada want all his books distributed? So people would understand why to chant. Even they don't read them very much. They go, crack it up. I said, there's a picture of somebody or other. So, well, that's Krishna. Okay, they see that. That's enough. So that when we say chant Hare Krishna, oh yeah, that's in that book I have. And they don't even have to read the book. You see, these are all the things that are going on there.
Okay, so we'll end it at that good note. To the main purpose of Srila Prabhupada writing his books is for people to chant Hare Krishna.
Well, that is so. But yes, so that whole thing about the gurus, I just want to leave emphasis on the idea. In the end, it will all be like, in the end, it will be like being in the presence of Lord Chaitanya. Yes. No philosophy, no talking, just chanting and more chanting and more chanting.
Okay.
That's what Lord Chaitanya did. Chaitanya Charitamrita shows us, you have something to do right now, don't you? Lord Chaitanya Charitamrita tells us what to do. And that is, Lord Chaitanya was the greatest philosopher, Dayak philosopher, even 16 years old, he could defeat anybody. But then he said, my spiritual master, Guru, says, I'm such a fool, I can't talk about ideas like that. Just chant Hare Krishna. So that's what he did. So that's what ISKCON is for. It's not for reading books. It's not for doing anything other than to chant Hare Krishna, meaning you read the books in the temple, but then you go out in the streets and chant. And until the movement has redirected itself into the streets and leaving the temples empty during the day. Empty.
All right.
Then the movement will succeed when the temples are empty during the day and the streets are full of people chanting, whether they know why they're chanting or not.
Okay.
Haribol.
Guy. Okay.
Okay, does that begin to touch things down?
Yes.
We could
So
read that same thing again and discuss it again. I think it's worth it because there are so many parts that we ourselves are not grasping.
yes. Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
We're caught up in negating their Maya.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's not even Maya, they're misunderstanding. We're negating their misunderstanding without understanding what we're going to replace it with.
Mm.
And that posting that we just read, if I may say so, is the answer to what are we going to replace it with.
Okay, so I'd like to thank all our viewers for watching online on Facebook, making comments. It's been a wonderful meeting with all the devotees. Moses Prabhu,
Excellent.
Mahaprabhu, Narayan, Rupa Manjari,
Hare Krishna.
Aristo Prabhu, and others who will be watching after it's recorded. So if you have any questions, you can contact us. Our link is in the description of the YouTube video. You can just click into it. You must have WhatsApp installed.
We should thank Moses and we should thank Arista and everyone else who's
Yes.
participating.
Yes, yes. So thank you very much.
They're helping us create the substance for ISKCON of tomorrow.
Jai, yes. So our next program will be on Saturday and then Sunday. At
Hare
8 p.m.
Krishna.
Saturday,
Haribol.
Saturday and Sunday.
Yes.
Good night,
Okay.
Rupa.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Good
Hare
night.
Krishna.
Good night. Haribol.
Well, good night, Rupa.
Hare
Amen.
Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Amen.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai, Prabhu.